Hey guys, so at the end of the last video I mentioned that there's a grid system already out there that will help us design in a way that keeps our designs really uniform. It will help us use white space properly, and it will ultimately help us have a design in our site that is pretty easy to create without us having to be really great graphic designers on our own. And so one of the places to start is this website called 960.gs or 960.gs. And this grid system is based on a total width of 960 pixels. So this website from here all the way to there is 960 pixels wide. And that is true whether I make it really big or whether I make it really small. It just gives me a scroll bar, right? And so it stays the same, which is really nice. So right here we have 3 columns, right here we have 2, here's 3, here's 2, here's 1. So if we scroll down, you can see how this is actually used in some websites right now. So Sony Music uses 16 columns, and if you don't believe me, you can click on Show Grid, and on the grid you can see that this sidebar over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns wide, which means that this over here is 10 columns wide. Right, so they used 16 columns total. Now let's scroll down and find another one that uses maybe 12 columns. So this one for Hugh Griffith. So if you click on Show Grid, it has these. There's 3 big elements down here at the bottom, and there's an element up here and an element right here. And these elements down at the bottom are 1, 2, 3, 4 each, right? And then these at the top are 6 each. So it really divides up your page. And the nice thing about this is that up here at the top they have a download button, and if you were to click that, it will give you Photoshop and Illustrator and PDF templates that you can use to design your site, and then whenever you go back in, it already gives you the sizes of how things need to be sized. Okay, so this is great, but let's say you're also designing for the mobile world, right? So this website does not scale. It's not what we call responsive. So if you scale it down like this, it doesn't change the way it's presented. It just gives you a scroll bar down here at the bottom. Right? And so what we want to do is be able to, if the dimensions are shrunk on a website, we want it to look appropriate. We want maybe the nav bar to change, and we want the content to change with it, so that people on their mobile devices can still access our phone or our websites. So they have responded to that with a site called Unsemantic.com. And I already have it pulled up right here. And so Unsemantic is made by the same people that made 960. It's similar in its design. However, it, instead of being based on exact sizes, so instead of saying this column is 43 pixels wide, it's going to give it in terms of a percentage. So it's going to say I am 25% of the web page. And if you don't believe me, this is really cool. So on this site, if we drag it, things don't really get bigger. It still stays centered right here, right in the middle of the site. But if we get smaller, instead of scrolling like the other one did, see how stuff starts pushing together, pushing together, pushing together, and eventually it clicks over to a mobile orientation. So this is what it would look like if you pulled it up on your phone. Okay? And the nice thing about this site is that in the exact same way as the 960 grid system does, they give you all the CSS and everything that you are going to need in order to execute this. So grid systems are a great framework for you to build from. We're going to use them a lot going forward in this class, so I would suggest that you download all these files that you can and just save them to a folder somewhere on your desktop for now. Great, I'll see you in the next video.